Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast. And welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
Well, B18. Messed up really bad for some girl. Take a leave of absence from college until I heal my depression enough to come back. My father is worried that I'm becoming a slob and takes me to work with him. Okay. He knows I'm competent at smashing things and also as strong as my frustration was, so he talks me into bringing my big-ass ruler, 1 meter, made of steel, with us. Okay, son. I'm bringing you in because we're going to take some photos of a very old, run-down building and some measurements of the rooms. I need you to be on guard because we heard some weird hobos are making a nest here, and I don't want any surprises. Sure, Dad. No probs. We arrived at the building. It's on a middle street in the center of the city that for some reason is empty most of the day. We arrived at 4 p.m. It's pitch black inside. There are no sounds, but there's a muffling aura. We have to yell to hear each other. It smells rancid and humid. My allergies are kicking in. I take out a lantern. We start checking out the building. It looks creepy. Dad starts talking about the state of the structure, what we need to do in order to rescue most of the original structure. He looks pleased. The columns aren't that bad, and no important beams would have to be replaced. I'm positive I've seen something moving in the corner of my eye, but I don't say anything. I signal some major problem my father ignored about one of the walls. Humidity has reached one beam that looks like it's supporting the second floor. It's corroded. We take photos of it. It's okay, son. Just don't walk over there when we go up. Again, something moves. This time it's closer. I say to my father that I want to go and check the farthest room from the entrance. He says he'll stay here and see if something can be done with the fuse box. So I go inside the room and feel confident that someone or something is 5 feet behind me. I feel vibrations and hear a very quiet sound. I step aside and slash at that bitch, kidney height. Nothing. Just air. The lamp is everywhere. I get an adrenaline-induced stomach ache. My blood is pumping. Anon, you all right? I run to my father. Dad, it might have been my imagination, but I feel we're being watched. I tell him about the steps and everything. Good to know. I found another lamp, he says, and now most of the entrance and lobby is visible. There are old papers everywhere. I go back into the room. Now I finally look at it and realize what I didn't earlier. The walls are covered in red paint with strange symbols. I've never seen similar things. Some classical pentagrams and some Venus alchemical ones. Half of them appear to be painted in dried blood. Nope. Hey, Dad, come see this. Pa comes in and looks at the whole deal. We're not scared, just confused. Small candles and puddles of what used to be candles litter the floor. Dad trips over something, and we realize it's a complete corpse of a cat enveloped in old newspapers. There are also some chicken bones and feathers, seemingly devoured by rats. One rat is also in the corner. What's this? Says my father, and he points the light up. On the ceiling, a sheet from some book is stuck. I jump and use the ruler. I didn't get it, but still it falls off. I caught it. It's something on depression. It looks very new, whelp. Okay, son, let's just check those rooms. You take the right one. I didn't feel the presence, so I agreed. Yell if you have problems, I say. Next room. Remains from a fire. More symbols. Now the sheets are from an old alcoholism book, and an older, almost indistinguishable Bible, both from a cheap edition. Dad seemed surprised. A strong exclamation. In the room there, an animal's leg. The rest of the body, we don't even know. Some arranged rat corpses line the corners, and there's a body bag. What the fuck? It looks full with a complete human in there, like the mummies. You can make out the location of the head and everything. I poke it with a ruler. Scared rats run like hell, 5 small things. The bag deflates somewhat. Jesus, son, I got scared. I thought it was a corpse. It doesn't look like it. Okay, Dad, I'm checking the upper floor. Going into a deep, dark room. Not really scared yet, just angry. I have this huge impression that I can feel shit inside of myself, but my brain is locked on full reason mode. I've been playing Wraith way too much, and this is average to shit-tier sorcery right here. I was sure about everything as a side symptom of my depression and all save the chickens. That was on my mind. This moan, however, it was something special. I've been in run-down buildings before, some with paranormal fame, and I told myself I could sleep in those. This one was different somehow. I didn't know what was going on, and instead of a flight impulse, I was in fighter mode. In fact, berserker mode. I thought I would start hitting the weakened walls, waiting to uncover something, an old pipe, anything that made that awful sound. But instead, I remembered a time when I used to believe in paranormal shit as just unclassifiable, and following the designs of an unseen hand, my memories traveled back 4 years when my friend, whom kept cringingly begging to be called necromancer, started to teach me about what was known about the spirit world and the Platonic branch of philosophy and lots of shit. He said that inside the deepest caves, if the Mayan priest didn't receive a vision or some insight after a sacrifice, he would sit with an offering in hand, waiting for the spirits of the dead. So I calm down partially, sit on the dirty floor, breathe deeply, and start listening in case it's a damned pipe. Okay. I hear some noises again, like steps at my back. I start by looking at the signs. Once the sun hits, first a small pentagram, then some kind of triangle spiral thingy, then some other thing like a very weird A letter. I realize my shadow ends up covering one of the alchemical signs, and there's another shadow rising from it. Another head from my left shoulder. I feel compelled to honor this shadow, and I start to speak. The offering was in my pocket all along, the sheet from that book on depression. It says that the person who suffers from it isn't in danger at the lowest point, but at the first functional point, because then they may make the determination to off themselves. I was considering this myself, and start getting away from friends or family until one day everything goes according to plan. And then, well, I go on and on, in almost a murmur about how I feel that my life is just another life in a sea of futility, and how I felt bad about everything in it. I couldn't possibly get what you would have felt, as now you might roam this place, but someone did. Someone, even if they were just impelled by fear, took all the work of doing this. And looking at this sheet, it looks like they tried to understand you, to communicate with you after you died. And then I felt a hand, or a claw, or something else, grasping my shoulder as if it could crush it. Cold. I think my heart got permanently smaller or something. I was paralyzed, but I didn't feel angry anymore. I was bound to get this guy and his shitty self out of the hole because I could have been in his boots. So I endured it. As I felt the hand advance towards my chest, there's a light. My father, asking for us to leave. Little girl jump scare, silent edition. I'm done, son. The installations are dead, measurements taken. Let's go home, I'm hungry. Shit, Dad, say something before jumping in. I could have had a heart attack. I'm sorry, son. You know, old dog and all that. It's true. He has this habit of scaring people unintentionally. Never mind. I tell him about this. He starts thinking a whole lot. Son, I know you don't believe in God, but let's go to church. After that, I'll buy you some churros with old Chewy. Delicious churros versus a creepy ghost and having to leave. I just say I hope we can all reach happiness someday for some reason, and we go out. So we did some background check on all of it and got some interesting data. The place used to sell shoes or something before. It wasn't a store per se. It was more like a warehouse and used to sell at wholesale. It still would sell to individuals if they knew what they wanted, but meh. A guy hung himself in the chicken room. He was an illegal immigrant, an Arab or something. A loving and caring man whose only child died in some car accident. His wife became crazy and he snapped after 4 months. Shortly after, a dude was found dead there, on the chicken room because of some gas leak or something. The problem was fixed, but the property became hard to sell because it also required extensive repairs. It was reported that many times the police would see a hobo get in, go to find him, and get out without getting shit. No back doors or exits. Windows were always okay and covered with bars. So before anything happened, the Chinaman who bought the building, deciding to turn it into a Chinese food restaurant, brought in a Catholic priest, a Chinese dude, and an Arab. All three, in turn, blessed the whole thing, the architectural plans, and even my father, who was there at the time. It became a popular Chinese restaurant shortly after, and with some modifications, it no longer looked grim or shit. Eventually, the symbols had to be painted over, because some parts of them just wouldn't come out of the walls. Nothing else has happened there. As for me, it helped me not to off myself. I guess I knew that I would cause pain around me, but I never knew just how much. I'm still suicidal, but now it doesn't matter how bad I feel. I can work and do shit just after crying a little, and I feel determined to live. That was my biggest and only nope story. I know it isn't that good, but it's a real one, and I hope some sad Anon would get a lesson out of this.
All right, I may as well contribute. Be around 7. My father had this unique way of terrorizing me and my older brother when we would misbehave. When we wouldn't sleep, he'd make a sound of these tiny doll feet rushing up the stairs. It would scare the shit out of me. Soon I had developed this mild fear of all dolls. And then one night, my dad pushed it over the line. He had picked up the actual doll and turned off all the lights in the house. Me and my brother, who was only 18 months older, were huddled in one room downstairs that was lit up like a Christmas tree. We had turned on everything we could. My mother was out, by the way. And this doll head would pop out from corners and doorways at unusual intervals, cackle, then disappear. My dad was awesome, but a dick. So the nightmare eventually stopped, and my bro and I didn't sleep for a few weeks. But eventually, when I was 12, I was determined to get over this damn phobia. Me, being the total genius I am, went to it when no one else was home. I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of you. I repeated this several times while staring at it. Suddenly, out of fucking nowhere, its head falls from looking upwards to down at me. I flipped my shit and ran screaming out of the house. I waited outside until my parents got back home. Turns out, when I was 8, my dad broke its porcelain neck while scaring us.
This is a delayed nope story.
I'm not good at making up stories, so I'll tell my only paranormal experience I have. This took place for me in 2002 in Williamsburg, Virginia. My brother and I got custody changed over to my father after some shit went down, and my father was in the Navy at the time. He got brought off his ship, the USS Enterprise, and was supposed to head back to the Persian Gulf because of the whole 9/11 shit. Well, my dad shared an apartment with my aunt in Williamsburg for offshore duty periods. This is where my story begins. Brother and I live at my aunt's apartment, down the street from the Fire Chop Steakhouse in Williamsburg. Uncle and aunt have their own room all the way in the back of the apartment. My brother and I have the room down the hall from them. My dad slept in a third room by the front door. Aunt, uncle, and father are all in the Navy. They get brutal shifts sometimes, and it's mostly just my brother and I there. Aunt had bought some cats recently. It meant nothing to us, nor was it said why they bought cats. One day my brother and I are in our room playing on our new PS2 my dad bought us when we separated from our mom. I think it was Gran Turismo 4 and Tekken Tag Tournament. Aunt is asleep in her room. My dad and uncle are not home. Aunt sleeps a lot during the day since she works night shifts mostly on base. Around 4 p.m. or something, the two cats rush into our room and just start meowing. They never went near us. They were really skittish and only stayed near my aunt or uncle. The cats stay with us, and we pet them and love on them. They just start acting normal after a bit and go back to my aunt's bedroom. I hear a bell sound, like one of those fancy living room coffee table bells. The cat must have bumped into some knickknacks or something. Aunt comes flying out of her room and into the shower. I notice she kind of looked grim as hell, like she was sick or really cold. She doesn't mention anything to us and acts like it never happened. Okay. Well, my dad got an apartment for us to go live in over in Norfolk, Virginia, so we moved after about a week. The next year at Thanksgiving, my grandmother asks me if I knew about what was happening at the apartment because me and my brother stayed there. Uncle overhears my grandmother and pulls us aside. He said he didn't want to tell them. We insist, and he says something like, "It's over now, so it doesn't matter, I guess." Well, my aunt's shifts were off compared to my dad's and my uncle's. She ended up being home alone a lot. She said there was a spirit in the house that would mess with her. Well, at the time, she was going through her first month of pregnancy with my cousin. That's when the spirit apparently showed up. My aunt said she could feel someone come into the bed when she was home alone. She said she could hear someone walking around the apartment. She freaked out and came out with it when this happened, though. She was sitting at the dinner table eating when the china decoration bell she had on her dresser in her room started ringing. Loud. The bell in her room never moved, but it would ring when she wasn't in the room. My uncle said she was full of shit. My dad said he didn't experience anything. They bought cats. The cats would act weird, like following around someone when no one was there, or getting aggressive in the bedroom and running out. A couple weeks after my dad and me and my brother moved out, it happened. My uncle was home during the day for some off time with my aunt. My uncle went to take a shower while my aunt was asleep. He swears up and down that while he was in the shower, his back went ice cold, and he could almost feel like he was being shoved. He said he tore down the curtains, grabbed my aunt, and ran out of the apartment complex naked with his cell phone. He talked to one of his friends who went to church nearby, and they got a priest to check out the apartment. Apparently, they tried to have the apartment cleansed, and it didn't work. My aunt says she threw out the bell, and she would still hear it calling her to bed. They moved out and told us about it the year after. I realized the cats ran to us because the ghost was messing with my aunt in the other room.
Well, since this is only a nope thread and not specifically paranormal, be 15 or 16. I live in a city in Alabama. Friend lives in the woods on a mountain in the middle of nowhere. Houses are hundreds of meters apart, and the only road he lives on dead ends and has no street lights. The only lights you can see at night for miles are those from houses. My buddy's dad bought a school bus and took it around a mile into the woods to use it as a place to stay while he hunted. Only the first 4 seats are still in. He took out the rest and replaced them with 2 love seats, a bed, a bookshelf filled with books, and MREs, a wood stove, a television. No power running out there. I don't know why he kept it. And 2 large drums filled with clean water. Me and 3 friends go out there with portable DVD players and snacks to camp for the night. Around 2 or 3 a.m., the DVD players die and we all start to get a little sleepy. When things start getting quiet, we begin to feel the bus shaking. We kinda laugh nervously and joke about it, saying we imagined it even though we all felt it. It keeps on for another couple minutes. Then we hear long, drawn-out metallic scraping coming from the back of the bus. A short, low growl comes from behind the love seats and a loud smack against the bus at almost window level. We use my buddy's walkie-talkies to call his dad to come get us. We're all babbling messes. The oldest guy, 19, is hiding under the blankets and whimpering. His dad comes up there with his rifle after like 20 minutes of losing it. The whole mess is over by the time he arrives. We all head back to the house at a quick pace. His dad went back out there in the morning and said he couldn't find any footprints, but that the nearby foliage was completely flattened in about a meter's radius. I still don't know what it was to this day. There aren't any bears in Alabama, but it was definitely something strong enough to rock the bus enough to startle us.
This one was last year on the 3rd of July. Go trout fishing in a nice backwoods area in northern Georgia. Brought my standard shit along with my .22 rifle because I may shoot cans if bored. Out on a rock in the water with my pole and bait in this little river creek. Gun is over on a log with a beer I wiped out. Everything is so nice. Birds chirping a lot. There's a little breeze. A squirrel to my right rustling around. Crickets and birds chirping. Everything just quiets down. No birds, no squirrels, no crickets. All I hear is the water moving along. Fucking creeped out. Wade across and grab my gun. Return to the rock. Knelt down, gripping my gun in almost absolute silence. Scanning the perimeter for anything whack. Just me, ready to shit myself in almost utter silence in the middle of nowhere. The sun's already going down. I planned to leave earlier, but I slacked off. Fuck this. I'm booking it out of here. Remember, there's a ranger station not far from where I parked. Loud-ass rustling opposite of where I want to go in the foliage. Turn around. It's some big-ass black thing on a tree trunk emerging from the foliage a ways down. Not a black bear. Not stout and as small as the ones I've seen. Oh God, what the fuck, is about the only thing I'm thinking. Jump in and start wading downstream, backpedaling with my face to that thing. It dropped down almost instantly from the tree, like it just unhinged itself from it. It didn't give a shit about the drop down. Fire to maybe get it to fuck off. Oh God, it's picking up speed. Continue upstream, readying to pink that fucker. It doesn't emerge from the foliage once, but it's intent on keeping up with me. Fast forward a good, intense 20 minutes of just wading through water to keep the thing back and stopping to shoot desperately into the woods. I arrive at a spot where there's a convenient path leading to where I have my Grand Cherokee made with my Gerber. Waddle out and enter a full sprint. Adrenaline is pumping. The thought of that thing chasing me on all fours keeps me running like a Kenyan in the Olympics. Emerge on the dirt road and spot my car, pulling the keys out of my shirt pocket under my crappy vest. Get in and ready to nope out of the state. Look ahead toward the direction of the ranger station. It's on the fucking road. Slender black thing like an alligator, but way more mobile, and it climbs somehow. Smash foot into gas and mow it over. Slam the brakes about 30 feet ahead. Victory at last. Look in the rearview mirror. It's on its back and slowly rolls over. Nope. 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 Slam gas again and nope out. I even give up on the ranger station and just want to head home. Never am I going in the woods in Georgia's northwest again.
So very recently in my town, this thing started happening that me and my friends describe as the black car phenomenon, and I'll describe my experience with it. I was also the first to experience this. Be riding my bike at about 2 in the morning, just for shits and giggles. Drive down this back road that runs close to a pharmacy parking lot. Look into the parking lot, and there is this black car. It's taking up 4 spaces, just sitting there with no license plate. There was no logo on the car, so I couldn't tell what kind it was. On the inside, you can see 2 people sitting in the front, not moving, just looking straight forward. The window is too tinted to see any details. All you can see is the outline. So I stop, thinking that maybe these guys might be injured or having a really bad trip or something. I bike over to the side door and knock on the window. "Hey, are you okay in there?" They just keep looking forward and not moving. I go next door to get my one friend. When we get back to the parking lot, it's gone. Since then, 3 of my friends have said the same thing has happened to them.
Be last Friday night. Dark and rainy in Indiana. Live in an apartment that's owned by the Regional Mental Health Center. Neighbors are all people with past mental health issues. Except me, of course. Watching dead files in the community room, because I don't have cable in my apartment. Go out onto the smoking patio for a smoke. There's a huge motionless frog on the concrete pathway. Consider nudging his butt with my foot to check if it's real. I decide not to. It's not necessary. Walk further onto the patio that overlooks a pond to finish my smoke. The frog is gone from the pathway. It must have hopped into the grassy area. Notice that the door to the community room didn't close all the way, so I don't have to bother with my key. Jokingly, I think, "Thanks, frog, for leaving the door open for me." Close the door. I walk back to my seat on the couch to watch more spooky time with Amy Allen. Suddenly, bam! Something solid hits the glass on the door. Nope. Then again, bam! Get up and look. It was the frog. He just then turned around and, surprisingly quickly, hopped away into the bushes and stuff. I think my brief encounter with the frog gave him the confidence to think he's people. Nope.
Read thread. Reflect over the whole story. Expected a dinosaur. Take a shower around midnight a few minutes ago. Go out, light off, everyone is asleep. Hear some whistling. Downstairs? Don't even grab a pair of briefs. Go straight for the machete in the closet. Have scared a couple of thieves with that shit. It's huge and I've used it for years. Go down in silent mode. Usually knees would crack or steps would sound loud. Not today. Naked snake motherfuckers not make a sound. Exact same whistling. Upstairs, go back and check. It feels cold, man. Left a window open. Close it because mosquitoes. Put on a pair of briefs and take a miner's light. Always keep 2 in my room at all times. It's probably nothing. .jpg. Hear whistling outside of my room. Go out and see nothing. Turn on the lamp. Large form moving in the courtyard, but not human-sized. What's that smell? Chicken, raw, dead chicken. Probably comes from the street. Overpowering scent. Fuck, my freezer. Go down and confirm that it is working. Opening it causes certain organs to retreat into cavities. It doesn't seem that the smell is coming from my freezer. Confirm windows and doors. Check for footprints. Nothing. Back upstairs. Just want to sleep. Leave the machete. Enter the room, close the door, whistling outside. Open the door by charging into it. Feel as if entering some greasy fume. Everything smells like raw chicken. Use some cologne and insect repellent to test my nose, also because of the heavy glass bottle. Nothing. My parents don't even realize still sleeping their room smells normal. Hang my rosary outside their door. No, they won't believe me. No whistling. Start writing once I feel calmer. Keep sharp letter opener close. I don't want to sleep anymore. What the fuck have you done to me /x/? I was a sane person. My room smells like a dead bird now.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.